Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Magic Mics, proudly sponsored by CoolStuffInc.com, CardHoarder.com, Alter Sleeves, as well as Twitch subscribers and Patreon supporters, just like you. I am Evan Irwin, and we get started each week by saying hello to my two co-hosts, MTG Nerd Girl.
Hey, guys.
That way. Ruben Bressler.
What's up? I have a background.
Hey,
it shouldn't be embarrassing anymore. Maybe a little bit.
Boxes.
They grow up so quickly.
We have a hammer. We have a scarf. Mm-hmm. We have some antlers.
He's all grown up now, everybody.
We have another scarf.
Okay, well, we kick it off with our first pick in the giveaway. Get your chance at a $50 gift certificate to CoolStuffInc.com by typing !raffle in the chat. But subscribe first, even with Prime, to get 2 chances to win. And don't forget
Check your primes, people. Check your primes.
That's right. Don't forget our raid at the end of the show to support a member of the community. Enter your suggestions at the end of the show to see who we raid tonight. That, of course, is thanks to our sponsor, CoolStuffInc.com, and you can find cool stuff in stock every day. And it is time to talk about the Magic Showcase. Oh my God. There was a showcase of Magic. We have been waiting on this one for a while. Last week, a little bit of a slow news week, so we could speed up and talk about everything today. A lot of what we're going to be doing is going through this announcement. You've already seen an announcement. High five. Let's get some hot takes on it while we're at it. All right. So we'll just kind of start our way down here. There's a little bit of the summary we'll leave out. So first things first, there's a secret lair because of course there is. This secret lair is the Out of Time Super Drop, where you have the Kamigawa Ink Foil Edition, which looks amazing. The money in this one apparently is Michiko Konda, the Truth Seeker. Yep. That card's like $25-something. And there's some other pretty good ones in here, which are nice. The Kami the Crescent Moon, whatnot. Toshiro Umezawa's worth a few bucks.
I used to have a Reki, the History of Kamigawa commander deck.
Nice.
And Heartless Higetsugu is also a popular one. And the art of him like stumbling out of the bamboo forest is pretty great.
Nice. And these are done in that kind of the Japanese water ink style?
in the calligraphy. I forget what the ink is called, but the Japanese calligraphy ink art style.
Traditional Japanese brushwork.
Brushwork.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I love Kamigawa, and it's not the last time we're talking about Kamigawa.
Yeah. The showcase was like your favorite.
Oh my God, it was amazing. I'll just say right now, 2022 looks like one of the best years for Magic ever. Just like since like Return to Ravnica was that 2013 or something. Like seriously exciting stuff. All right, so the Teferi's Time Trouble, I'll try not to spend infinite time on every single one of these, but Teferi's Time Trouble finally answered the question, what does a Planeswalker look like if it was in alpha or beta? And some of the wording here is amazing. If Dak has no loyalty, he abandons you, which is really incredible. Use counters is on here, which is cool. Like, Nerd Girl, do you like any of this kind of stuff? Does any stuff?
Yes, this is definitely really funky. I was going to say, as for the Kamigawa stuff, that art is just super unique. Sure. I think that one's pretty amazing. This Planeswalker in this really unique, like, older border and everything, I think is really cool. I think it's going to be very collectible, especially for people who like to collect one of every Planeswalker, which is a pretty common collectible thing. So this is definitely far more unique than a lot of the more recent stuff that they just slap on some good art, call it a day. I think this is a little bit more thinking outside the box, which I love.
I mean, somebody had to go through the templating, right? Essentially.
Yeah. I appreciate what they were going for with this one. I hate it, but I appreciate what they were going for.
I love it.
And you're right. Nerd Girl's right. I would rather they swing and miss than not swing.
No, the idea that this is the colorless frame, which they didn't even have a colorless frame back in the day. That's why it's not the artifact brown, because this is a colorless Planeswalker, right? And I mean, the idea of the silly wordings are amazing. The sillier and more ridiculous they get, the better I like the secret layers. Just go nuts. This is awesome. All right. So, lastly, they have some artist series. They have Johannes Voss, which is incredible. Thomas Baxa is amazing. And this math for blockers thing. You know why it's math for blockers, right?
Yeah, I got it. I get the joke.
Go on and explain it. Not everyone knows why. Okay. This is called math is for blockers.
Maybe the most esoteric and weird of the secret layers I've ever seen. So every creature art has like a circle in it.
Right, some circular
and every flavor text has a math reference in it because the power and toughness of the creatures is pi.
You see,
start with Brazen Borrower, which is 3-1.
3.1.
Mm-hmm. And there's a 4-1, 5-8, 5-9,
2-6,
2-6, 5-3. So this will help you memorize pi, I guess. This is like one of the weirdest ones I've ever seen. This is bizarre. Like, someone was smoking a drug cigarette
it just
when they
feels
pitched
like
this idea.
They was on the devil's, lettuce, and they were like, yo, bruh, let me tell you, what if we did a pi super drop? And they're like, what? And you're like, let me find some creatures.
I wish there was a little bit more of like a variation between them, like one of each color, or if like so it's supposed to help you possibly remember pi or whatever, but like the cards are not in alphabetical order. So like,
nope.
I wish there was a little bit more to that to kind of like,
yeah.
It's just a little ridiculous.
This needed
and
something
silly.
that it doesn't have. I don't. Again, some of these and again, something that they said, or at least Morrow said in Blogatog, not every Magic product has to be for everybody.
Right. And
I think I agree with the sentiment. With that said, this is certainly another one that is not for me. Meanwhile, the Johannes Voss and Thomas Baxa ones, I love those. I love when they give the artists like, go nuts.
Free reign.
And then especially the Johannes Voss one where he wrote a haiku and put a story into his cards. I think those are great.
Like Carpet of Flowers finally being reprinted since Urza Saga?
Yep.
It's like a $30
that art's
uncommon.
really pretty.
Oh, yeah.
That art is beautiful.
Yeah. And the Karmic Guide looks amazing.
I love the concept of the art on the Karmic Guide of just like taking a walk. Just like going off and taking a little walk. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. Really, really terrific cards on this one. I like it a lot. So yeah, that's a secret lair. This is if you have the money and you like the stuff, buy the thing, throw it in a closet. Let's talk in 5 years. I think if you could only pick one, I would probably get the Time Trouble because it's weird. And usually the weirder the things are, the more exclusive and rare and, the more people want them, essentially.
Yeah, probably Kamigawa Ink also would be pretty high on that list just because it's got something so unique. Whereas like the angel art, it's beautiful, but like you could say that about a lot of things. So I agree with the unique sentiment.
Yeah, and the math is for blockers is just weird. I don't even know what's happening right there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. All right. So let's move on here to Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Goodness gracious. Along with Innistrad Crimson Vow are two sets coming more or less back to back. This is our new normal. Wizards has kind of been trying to explain that to us all along, that Dominaria United is going to be when we rotate. And then suddenly we're going to have two sets in the first 4 months and two sets in the last 4 months. And that's just kind of how it's going to be for a while. And we'll see if they change that. But yeah, that's going to be interesting.
So I think this is the first time that it's been confirmed, because we'd heard that there was going to be a vampire wedding, and that was going to be the plot to Crimson Vow.
Yes.
I think that this is the first time that it was confirmed that Olivia Voldaren is involved in the wedding as one of the people getting married.
Yes.
So that's a big story thing.
Right.
Which is notable. And there was sort of a tacit admission of... I wouldn't say admission is the right word, but that werewolves and vampires are going to be not necessarily the only story that's happening.
Okay.
Like if you read between the lines of what they were saying, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm looking too much into this and I'm just going too much Pepe Sylvia into this. But I feel like there was a cohesive thread of like, what's happening with the humans? You know what I mean?
I mean, they've still not showed us
stuff is
a werewolf from the werewolf set.
Right.
They've showed us a planeswalker, some other cards. I know they're doing something different and weird and whatever, and so I'm excited to see that because they keep teasing it over and over.
The other thing that they said was that they're going to do they're going to do a way to draft these sets together, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, it's in here.
Oh, we're going to get there? Sorry.
We're going to get there. It's cool. But like they're doing really new, weird, interesting stuff for in-store play. Nice segue.
Hey.
The store championships are happening. And you can play in your local store for your store championships. This is about as much as Wizards wants to organize their play at the moment. And for what it's worth, all right, we're going to bring this back. All right. For those who are expecting organized play announcements, have you looked outside? Have you read the news?
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind? I don't want them announcing anything bigger than a store championship. And even then, might not attend because it freaks me out a little bit.
I disagree to some extent. Not that I think that they should be pushing organized play, but I think they should be telling us where they're going with organized play. Mm-hmm. I would like to see something like, we have a plan, we have an idea, this is it or kind of it, and then when, the world is okay, hopefully, again, before we're all dead, that would be where we would be moving on. But right now, there's just so much anxiety that it is just dead. So many people's careers, their dreams, aspirations, whatever, rely on them making some sort of decision.
Yeah. Well,
and so COVID aside, they should tell us something.
I mean, it's in their sort of post showcase stream thing. Blake Rasmussen had said that, look, they're kind of sort of they want to build up and outward. They're going to start with the stores championship, do some stuff for stores, and then move on from there. I mean, I don't think they have a given plan because the world is not complying to plans right now. Everything just keeps moving the goalposts, like what we're supposed to be doing, what we're not supposed to be doing, the mandates, the not mandates. And
I'm fine with all of that. But if they could say, hey, we're bringing back Planeswalker points or whatever, just an idea of what the future could hold, no matter how obscure that future is far away, distance wise.
And I understand from their perspective, if you give give them an inch, they're going to take the mile of expectations, and they said this, which means that, and they hinted about this, which means that. It gets rough. It's better usually for Wizards to say less, because when they try to say anything, it sometimes just kind of rolls out of control. Anyway, my point was that I just think that expecting OP announcements right now is just a little much. It's a little beyond what they're capable of doing right now.
Yeah,
particularly
I do
37
agree.
Products next year.
I do agree that it is upsetting that there isn't, what we're going to be doing in some amount of months. And by we, I mean Nerd Girl. But what full-time content creators and former professional Magic players and people who depend on larger tournaments for their, well-being, unfortunately, to have that announcement, they also have to know, and Wizards doesn't know. Wizards has been in internal flux since before the pandemic started.
Oh yeah.
There's a maelstrom, there's just a whirlpool, and no one knows where anybody is right now. Mm-hmm. Which is unfortunate, but it's the fact of the matter.
I mean, it's just tough. I'm just saying, yeah, that to me was one of the surprising things. They're there was no OP announcement. I'm like, what do you expect them to say?
I definitely agree with you on that, because I think I saw a lot on Twitter of people expecting an OP announcement to be, there is a GP in 3 months or whatever. We've planned this event. And I think that is very unrealistic, but the fate of OP, I think, is very different. And that's where I think that we should pressure them a little bit to get some sort of information, but they might have just dropped it from what it looks like. We have no idea.
Sure. As we're talking about the store championships and the store stuff, it's frustrating to know that, Papa Bezos, the old Amazon, has never ran out of a draft box at any point in time in any sales period for the past 2 sets. But your local game store has a very difficult time accessing draft boosters specifically. Just saying, that's happening over and over, set after set. None at the distributor level, but Amazon always has infinite. That's not cool. I don't like it, but we're going to talk about store championships taking place this December, they say. That's the first ways you can play for glory and prizes at your local game store. You'll see a promo Arbor Elf, if you just play in it, a foil one. That's pretty cool. Or maybe not non-foil, it just says promo. But if you make top 8, you get the promo Collected Company. If you win it all, you win a promo Worm Coil engine, which now says Phyrexian Worm, and that's dope.
Yep.
That's super duper dope. The winner and the top 8 promos awarded at WPN Premium stores will have the store name printed on them, confirming your championship victory there every time you play one. Now, here's the thing.
Wild.
You know what they say. When one person is a superhero, then they're a superhero. But if everyone has powers, no one has powers. So if this promo is unique and every promo is unique, are they really unique? And then the question is, what's the name on it? Is it the name on like the LLC? Is it the name that the store wants? That's a question. I don't know. For example, Cool Stuff Inc., right? We have Cool Stuff Games stores, but is it going to say Cool Stuff Games space the name of the city because we have 6 of them? Or is it going to say something generic? I honestly don't know. And I would willing to bet, just throwing it out there to the world, that the misprint that doesn't have the store name on it is going to be the one worth a ton of money.
Yes, that definitely makes sense because the store name has some sort of like association attached to it. So like if you can just have it and claim, anything that is going to be absurd. I agree that misprint will be the highest dollar ever.
It's just when everything is unique, nothing's unique. And I'm just like, so you think about it, you go, okay, all right, so what are the benefits to the store to having their name on the promo? I don't necessarily know.
I don't know how many of these are going to be in circulation, but like it is a really cool keepsake if you're top 8ing this event and getting a card with the card, So I get what you're saying, but it's not like everybody gets it for a pre-release. You know what I mean? That might be a little bit more blanket like you're talking about. Whereas if it's only top 8, and I don't know how often these events are going to be happening, but I think it is actually pretty sweet.
I'm not saying it's not like, I'm not saying it's bad or it's like crap or anything. I'm just, sometimes like just thinking it through, just talking it out. I'm like, okay, the store has their name on a promo. That's cool. Definitely cool. But like, you're not going to be able to really collect a set from any one store. They're only going to get one of them. Like if you have multiple stores, maybe that matters. Maybe there's a couple stores where it's cool to have that specific name. For example, if Neutral Ground still existed, Ruben, I guess it'd be really cool to have one there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if the store has some gravitas attached to it, I guess that changes the economy of it. For me, this is I get to forever hold this, and this is a trophy. It's not even a piece. It's not even a card anymore. This is a trophy that I put in a commander deck forever. And I think that you literally couldn't have picked a better card than Wormcoil Engine with the new type line. And Collected Company is the most popular card in the format. Arbor Elf is an excellent choice as well. This just seems like a home run. I am a little perplexed by why they decided to do it, but I think it's a cool idea. And again, I would rather they swing and miss than not take a swing at all.
There you go. So, hopefully this comes out great, which will be fantastic. They also announced commander parties happening on October 30th and 31st, which if you just come out and show up and play, they give you a Conjurer's Closet, a promo Conjurer's Closet. I'll put it up here on the screen. This card is like a $5 card, no matter how you slice it, wherever you get it. And so they're giving you a cool promo version. So they're kind of giving you like at least a $10 bill, I would argue, just for showing up to play some Commander. All
right. They're trying to get me to... I mean, I'm going to be in my Halloween costume, but I guess that makes sense for the Conjurer's Closet. But
there you go.
This is a weird thing, but sure, great.
It's new. It's different.
It's free stuff to get you into the game store. It's awesome.
I'm all about it, so high five there. All right, so let's keep on moving here. We have the Pioneer Challenger decks. Okay. This definitely feels like a decision that was made long time ago. Way back when.
It has to be, because this had to have been decided when, shortly after Pioneer was announced.
Probably, or maybe just a few months in.
This has been coming down maybe even before it was officially announced. Because, when you make a format or whatever, you maybe have some sort of game plan to go with it. But yeah, this is...
And, the deck lists are out. They published the deck list. There's some serious value in the mono red deck. I mean, the mono red deck has 4 Soulscar Mage, has 4 Bomac Couriers, 4 Bone Crusher Giants. It has play sets of the stuff that you would want. I was really impressed. It has a Chandra, Torch of Defiance in the sideboard. There's some really sweet stuff in here. I mean, there's a Thoughtseize in the white-black deck, which is cool. There's a whole bunch of options for you to look at. Something, again, they this is, Pioneer was a thing. It did get a little bit of hype for about 20 minutes, and then the world ended, and we all went and played Historic on Arena because Pioneer wasn't a thing really anymore. So this is a weird product.
I mean, all of these decks are dope. I wish Pioneer was a format that people cared about, but...
And yeah, Lotus Field has an Omniscience. So there's some value in here, y'all. All I'm saying.
I mean, I have no experience with Pioneer at all because it was announced a month before the pandemic really came down. Sure. So I've never even shuffled up a Pioneer deck before.
This feels like the last thing that got greenlit before the pandemic took over. It just does, everything with the production and they finalized the list and then here's the thing and there's the artwork and it's to the printers and, oh God, we got to release this when, So we'll see. If nothing else, again, this is stores will just bust these for singles. It's not the end of the world that these won't be necessarily played in a tournament setting at your game store versus your game store going, wow, the Mono Red deck was some really good value for singles. So, and it also makes all of those singles cheaper as more enter the market. So that always helps too. Commander Collection Black. Now, Commander Collection Green came out, and that thing was just chock full of value. I'm talking that thing was hundreds of dollars of cards, and the black one is not that shabby either. Because let me tell you, the contents are pretty sweet. We're talking Ghoul Caller Gisa. That's probably what, $4 or $5 or so. Ophiomancer, that's like $20 or so. For every variety of Phyrexian Arena is at least a $20 bill. Just kind of is. And between Reanimate, Toxic Deluge, that's another giant monster. Here's another Soul Ring, another Command Tower. The freaking Snake Token.
The art for before we get to the Snake Token, before we get to the boy, let's talk quickly about the Command Tower and the Soul Ring.
Yeah.
Because these are specifically black mana themed Soul Ring and Command Tower. Yep. The Soul Ring, I believe, is the gate to Phyrexia, if I'm not mistaken. And the Command Tower may well be the Phyrexian Tower, one of the Yawgmoth towers that was established. So I think that those are super dope. And specialty arts for ubiquitous cards like this, like Arcane Signet. I would love to see more stuff like that. But now we can talk about we can move on to the headliner.
Well, I went back and it's something like 8 years. It took them 8 years to make a 1/1 snake token with Death Touch to go with Ophiomancer. Okay.
Yeah, flip that token over, by the way.
Flipping it.
Because on the back is Liliana's brother, Josu. Which is wild, right? Yeah, so we got Liliana Heretical Healer that flips into Doomed Necromancer, I think.
Defiant Necromancer, yeah.
The story of Liliana is that she accidentally killed and then raised her brother, right?
Yeah, right from the dead, and then he was a zombie, and so it was traumatic. And
we have young Josu zombie token, which is horrendous, but also perfect for Commander Collection Black.
Nice. Toxic Deluge, they say, is Yawgmoth coming into Dominaria as a Death Cloud. Says the Maverick Girl Kendra there. This is just sick. This is amazing. This literally, I assure you, this is the closest thing that Wizards has done. They put up the two pictures and they put up from the Vault in one and they put in Commander Collection in the other, and they say, what's the difference between these two pictures with the same picture? Yep. That's the meme for these right here.
Except for that these are more widely available, right?
They are more widely available, but think of the WPM premium stores get the foil versions, and there's, far as I know, 6 of them in Florida. So think about how few copies of these foils are around. Again, this is a very high value on the secondary market, very low cost for the stores. So they get that bump that Wizard essentially gives the WPM stores. That's sort of what this is. It's a gift. I assure you it's a gift. And so this is the way they can lay it out. And these products are great. The green one was awesome.
So they get in decks that are entirely foiled of this?
They get the Commander Collection all foiled. If you're a WPM premium store, you can buy those. Yes.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, for sure. And it's, it's one of those reasons, it takes, you got to jump through hurdles and you got to do stuff to keep that WPM premium status rather. And so these are the thank yous for doing so, essentially, which is great. All right, so that product is super dope. Now we get to this product, Ruben, we were talking about, Innistrad Double Feature. This is a unique draft experience where they shove the two sets together is what it sounds like. You know, a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of peanut butter. It looks to be some sort of special art treatment on every card and exclusively to local game stores in early 2022. I
am in love with whoever designed whatever's happening on this page. This is my favorite. You all know I'm a sucker for the old movies. I like, especially bad old movies. Like if you got Plan 9 from Outer Space on, I'm going to sit down and watch it. Mm-hmm. Like we got Manos, the Hands of Fate promos coming. I'm on board. You know, like I don't even care what this product is. I'm in love with it.
It seems neat. I mean, this is one of the things that I'm curious if they bring this to Arena, for example. Like, is it sort of good enough, interesting enough to have that as a format? And Nerd Girl, like, how do you feel about this format, which could be just literally in-store only as a draft experience?
I mean, we've seen things like this before that, like, I was a little sad that I didn't get to touch on, sort of like the battle bonds or things like that, where it is in-store only. They don't have like a ton of use outside of like maybe EDH. But again, how useful are these cards going to be on actual Arena? And with how expensive Arena is, I would love for them to put this on as some sort of like mock type event where you pay like a small fee and then you get like some gold back or whatever, but you don't keep the cards. That would be amazing. But then they can't charge that premium price, which makes it so that they don't want to code all the cards in, because they want to basically have you do draft events that make you buy product at full price and give you no reward.
Right.
Because
of course,
draft is, sealed is limited on Arena is super expensive. So
yes it is. It adds up quite quickly.
I think it would be cool, but I don't know how feasible it is.
Well, I mean, I guess one part is if they already have the cards coded into the client, and this is just special art treatments, and this is just another way to have those list of cards be a list of cards.
Yes.
I could see it.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
I would be up for that. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. They don't mention it. That said, it's time for the Magic's 2022 releases. Oh boy. I'm excited.
Put your seatbelts on. It's going to be fast.
Go.
So many.
Neon Dynasty. They're putting Neon in Magic. They're cyberpunking my Magic. Are you cyberpunking my Magic? Did you think my Magic is cyberpunking?
Pretty wild that this is a bridge that I did not know that they would cross.
I mean, Cyber Samurai. I'm just like, I am so here for everything. Oh my God. It's beautiful. I love it. They also mentioned that because Foresight says it has all new mechanics, doesn't mean that all of the mechanics are new. It means that there are new mechanics in the set. Fine. I do expect to see some ninjutsu in there because that mechanic is still terrific. Everybody loves ninjas. This is Kamigawa. We have been begging for this. They noted that if we didn't beg for this, we didn't tell them, hey, Kamigawa rules. We love Kamigawa. The cards were kind of crap, but that's okay. The world is amazing. We got this. We got this.
World building in particular for Kamigawa was so ahead of its time in terms of its depth and its breadth and its uniqueness, because it's so far from anything that people were used to at the time. We're now going to return to Kamigawa 2,000 years later, which allows us to do the cyberpunk, Blade Runner thing. Mm-hmm. I will say cautiously optimistic. I think that it is another big swing, right? Like, this took some convincing of somebody in a really nice suit with expensive shoes to be like, yeah, we're going to do the entire first 3 months of the year with a world that this would be like if we pitched,
Mercadian Masks,
Return to Olgrotha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like, this is, not exactly the greatest pedigree of history, but it's dope. Like, I mean, and it seems so cool.
I mean, Nurgle, did you ever actually get to touch Kamigawa in any way?
I did. The cards I wasn't a huge fan of at the time.
That's fair.
So I worry it's a little bit twofold. I'm worried that there's a lot of people who didn't like Kamigawa for the cards, and then there's a lot of people who love Kamigawa for the world building and the story and the art. So I'm worried that, similar to Keldheim, we're going to just breeze through the world building and just pump out product, the next set. We didn't really get to enjoy a lot of it. It wasn't built up. So that might skim over it. And also I think that the Kamigawa is still going to be kind of has still left a bad taste in people's mouth because I don't think it was a particularly great actual set to play.
No, it was horrible. It was absolutely awful.
Yeah.
So-
Savior's pre-release is one of the most miserable pre-releases I've ever been. Only Cold Snap was worse than the Saviors of Kamigawa pre-release. I'm telling you.
But it's also been 20 years since anyone who played Kamigawa has been dead for a long time.
And on the inside.
That includes me.
On the inside.
That includes, yeah. And no one remembers what happened. All of the sins of Kamigawa's past have been forgiven. No one remembers what Splice onto Arcane and Sweep do anymore.
I quit playing Magic for 3 years because of this set.
It was really not. It was bad. It's okay. Look,
Hopefully,
all I'm saying
we'll hope
is
for the best.
that's an origami raccoon on his shoulder. That's incredible. Look at that origami raccoon. I am here for it. The raccoon is everything.
That's an origami.
I will kill everyone in this room if that raccoon is
Enhance.
damaged or harmed in any way.
As a limited player, I have really high hopes because we've had very good limited sets. I mean, you can say whatever you want about Constructed and some of the standard snafus and bans that we've had, but limited as a whole, with a few teeny tiny exceptions, has been really fun. I've liked all of the sets as far as like their story and the lore. I mean, I'm not super into that like Ruben is, but like I felt like the mechanics were very like involved and interesting and unique for me to explore. So I'm hoping we get the good Kamigawa stuff with the better actual set build. And then we'd be, in Candyland. We'd be happy.
I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this for a long time. A long time. As a guy who personally begged R&D in person at Wizards, please, can we go back to Kamigawa? And them always going like, Kamigawa was bad. And we're like,
they've got their shot, and we'll see what they do with it.
Please shoot it well. All right. So
I hope so.
We go from Cyberpunk 2077 in Magic to BioShock in Magic.
Yeah.
Streets of New Capenna.
Noir in Magic this is my jam. This is dead center Ruben Bressler's shiz. Is Noir. Give me Casablanca.
Mm-hmm.
Give me like Foggy Nights. 1930s gangster crap. I love this stuff.
We're talking 3-color demon crime families.
Speaking my language.
He can only get so excited.
Wait. We can't talk about this anymore. It's going to get against terms of service.
That's right.
On Ruben's
I'm going to have
side of
to unbutton another button.
Woo!
It's getting too hot in here for my...
Yeah,
I love Noir. I think that the concept of like gangs against gangs is super interesting, where you get to see a new world where we get sort of like, 1950s Detroit, Chicago with these demon crime families. We get another take on the 3-color wedges and shards. Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's a super interesting and fun take.
Yeah, and I mean, I went to the BioShock. Yes, I could have gone to like Sopranos or something, but the idea that the city was built by angels, it was later ran over by demon crime families. I'm just like, the demon crime families.
Yeah,
all about
that's
it.
Chicago. That's literally New York City is what this is. And I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk plus crime family standard.
Oh my God. And they keep going into the city has a special significance to Elspeth. That doesn't mean anything. I don't know what they think that means. That doesn't mean anything at all. Like, does it mean Elspeth's in the set? Like,
no, it probably means this is her home plane. Is the concept. Well, we don't know where she's from.
Right.
And so that's the hints that they're dropping. If it's not the plane that she's from, I don't know what it could possibly be.
I got nothing. But either way, the second quarter of 2022 will have Streets of New Capenna along with Dominaria United. This is incredible. This is the 30th anniversary of Magic next year. This is Dominaria. Dominaria is the best draft set I've ever played in my life.
Which is why I'm excited about this one.
Yeah!
We all have our sets.
Dude, this is sick. I can't, look, man. Dominaria sold so well. Like it sold like bananas and then more bananas on the bananas and cover that with the chocolate sprinkles. I'm telling you, we couldn't get enough, couldn't sell enough. Like they delayed product because the sales were so good. It was messing up the quarter of the year. Like it was crazy. Dominaria was just amazing. And it's one of the best sets ever. And so to have one that's kind of going to bring it back home. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Yeah. And you could tell it did so well because they didn't take long to bring it back. Like,
oh yeah, as they should. I mean, look, I felt like we were going to race into Phyrexians, right? Phyrexia taking over, and the oil and the whatever, and the Praetors have been showing up in different planes or whatever. And then threw me curveball. Did not see the Brothers War coming.
Yeah.
I remember them showing me pictures. I was like, and I said out loud, "Oh my God, is that the Brothers War?" And I was like, "Oh my God, it's the Brothers War!" And it's just flipping out, man, because this is insane.
The Brothers War is the, I believe, second Magic novel, and it's the best one. It's the best Magic story. Not particularly close to this day. The war between Mishra and Urza, the introduction of the Thran, the like sort of what threw the whole world into flux. And for them to take that story that's 30 years old and put it into modern context with modern cards, with new storytelling, people are going to be opening booster packs and being like, who's Urza? Right? Who is Mishra? What are these stories? And then going back and being able to find, forums from the early 90s talking about these characters. I think that's wonderful.
I was reading some, people who are just like, the modern player doesn't even know what a Brothers War is or whatever. I'm like, but don't you think it's important that we're going back to where like everything started from? The gate to Phyrexia, Phyrexians existed. This is how the Ice Age happened. Like all of this stuff that impacted the game so greatly started right here. And it's going to be an artifact set, and it's probably going to be broken in half because every other artifact set's been busted in half, but that's okay because we're talking about really cool characters that we like a lot. And I want to see these cool moments and these big things and these huge mechs and stuff. Let's go from the top rope.
Yeah, I think that knowing where you've been is important, especially in a 30th anniversary year. I think that taking advantage of that history is something that Magic has been sorely lacking in on a number of fronts, and I'm glad that they're embracing it, particularly back-to-back Dominaria into Brothers War.
Right. And this argument that like, the brothers are they're petty and they're doing all this for no real gain. I'm like, that's the story. That's the characters. It's okay if they're bad characters. You can also point that out. Be like, wow, guys, you really could have just not done all this and saved the whole world a whole lot of trouble. But that's the story. That's why it happened the way it did, is because they were the way they were. This is sick. I am so pumped for the Brothers War. I was not expecting that to come at all.
Yeah.
All right. So we have, those are the 4 big sets, right? Those are our standard premier. They don't call them standard anymore. They call them premier sets.
Premier sets. Yeah.
Those are premier sets. Well, it's time to cover more stuff like Unfinity. What? New unset. Mark Rosewater in a astronaut suit with flannel on it.
Yep.
He's like, I'll wear the suit, but you got to let me put a flannel shirt on it first.
I'm very excited about an unset.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed them.
Yeah, this thing is absolutely sweet. What little they've said of it essentially is it's very space themed. There's like a space carnival thing that you're having, the retro futuristic fun and whatnot. There's going to be space basic lands, what you would describe as SpaceX. And so SpaceX are going to be dope.
Oh, man, that hurts.
SpaceX are going to be dope.
Oh, my God, that hurts.
And they're doing space shocklands. So they're going to have a sick land treatment and the shocklands in space.
I love it.
I'm all about this life. And then hearing that Graham and company got to write on the flavor text and the card names and stuff. Like they brought in some awesome comedians in the Magic world. Cameron was helping on that. Just the whole crew, almost the whole crew, I think, of Loading Ready Run got to work on this. And this was awesome.
Amazing. I'm super looking forward to it. Space Shocklands and Space Basics are a great way to sell the set.
You mean SpaceX?
And make sure that it makes SpaceX. It still hurts. Oof. Oh, I'm gonna need to stretch after this. But the Shocklands are really gonna help, bolster the bottom line.
Right. Make some people want to buy it.
The unstable limited environment was a blast to play. I'm looking forward to it.
Did you get to play any of the last Unset, Nerd Girl?
I did, but I just wanted to say, like, when you drop like a big joke and you like laugh really big, I like when you drop the little jokes that you think are just for you and you like you get to, you're like really excited. Those are my favorite.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's happening in the second quarter of 2022, and they're also doing. Listen to this. They're doing collector booster packs of the Unset. That's wild. Like,
yeah, those are going to be some crazy cards.
I was not expecting a collector booster for the Unset.
I mean, so for the lands,
sure.
One assumes, are they going to make space treatments of? Here's the question.
Well, I mean,
are they going to do space treatments of standard legal cards that don't appear in Unfinity for the collector boosters?
I can see it. Like, you got to give people a reason to buy it. That
Right.
isn't just there's a few shiny foils in there. Like, some other stuff probably needs to be in it. That's really
like
interesting.
Unsets have some money in it, like
little
whether
bit.
that's the lands or the whatever. And now they've got the space
Shocks
shocks
and stuff. Yeah.
But that doesn't seem like enough for a collector booster, even if you just like bump up the rate at which you get the money. Or, I'm sorry, the exciting
The excitement.
cards.
You get the excitement.
Even if you bump up the excitement rate of those things showing up, it doesn't seem like quite enough because the uncards aren't usually like very playable in other formats, so they're just like a collectible thing, which keeps the like cost kind of down.
Right.
So I don't know.
I mean, for example, I could see them doing like the temples in a space theme that would go in the collector booster. Or
the lands are
some other
super easy
land.
to do.
Yeah, some of the like a whole bunch of land treatments all in space, and they all throw them in the collector booster because that's where you're going to get your money anyway, and yada yada yada. All right, moving on here. Well, we liked D&D the first time. It's time to do Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. This is another D&D set plus the Commander Legends thing. So then you get to draft like Commander Draft again with the 2 picks per pack thing, which is kind of neat. And yeah, you'll have the foil etched legendary creatures per usual. And it's going to be exciting.
This is the easiest bet. I mean, I don't know who these people are that theoretically didn't like the D&D set. I don't know who they are, but they're wrong. And they should feel bad that they're wrong.
And then it's sold and it's still selling. So
yeah, and D&D is great, and people love D&D, and any way to monetize D&D is difficult. But monetizing Magic, not so difficult.
None.
Putting the IP of Dungeons and Dragons on a Magic card, chocolate peanut butter. Like, it's the easiest thing you could possibly do.
Stone cold nutter butters, let me tell you. So
yeah.
The Commander Legends stuff was cool. It's not like my jam, right? Like, I didn't get to draft it or really play with it that much at all. But honestly, I've found in many ways that it's fun for me to kind of sort of like discover some of these Commander cards that I just don't really interact with or play with. I'm like, oh, that card does something really cool. I didn't even know that thing existed. Like I get part of that, from Commander stuff, which is neat. But of course, if we're going to talk about dollar bills, they stuff them double in Double Masters 2022. I'm glad they didn't try for Triple Masters or Quadruple Masters.
In a year called 2022, I'm glad they just went with Double Masters 2.
Yes.
Like, that makes me happy.
022. Yep. I mean, this is 2 foil cards, 2 rares or mythic rares per booster pack. Coming back, there's probably going to be more of the VIP booster treatment where these things cost $100 a pop. And, God knows what they're going to be throwing into this set in terms of money, cash, and value. But like, these are the products that also really help stores. The idea that they can take the distributor level product. If it's super hype, they sell it for sealed. If it's super hype beyond for all the singles, you can bust it for singles. So this is all super good for both the economy in general in terms of people liking, cheaper cards and giving the stores another boost, which is just nice. And,
definitely,
as long as they don't run back a Masters 25 where it was a disaster and everyone hated it, we'll be good. We'll be all right. Be okay. The Master sets themselves, though, did you get to draft Double Masters, Nerd Girl?
I did not.
Because those limited formats are cubes. I mean, call them what you want. Think about them how you want to think about them. But they are a format curated of reprints, very powerful cards, very powerful effects, and you can draft around them if you want to, or you can just pull out the dollar bills and just be happy with it. And lastly, or at least I'm not sure if it's lastly, but Jumpstart, it's definitely not lastly, dear God. Jumpstart 2022, the best idea for Magic in the past 10 something years. I don't even know what I can compare it to. Maybe since they created flip cards for Innistrad. Jumpstart is unbelievable. Jumpstart solves a problem that is so fundamental. It is just incredible. I want Jumpstart everything. I want Jumpstart Commander. I want Jumpstart Limited like this. I want Jumpstart and Standard Jumpstart. Just Jumpstart me all the time because it's super fun to take X and Y, shuffle it, and play. And that's cool. And to have different experiences every time.
It's great.
I think that Jumpstart is the limited version of Dual Decks, which is one of the best products that I have always recommended anytime I've worked at a game store or when people are asking how to get into a game or experience Magic, give it a try. It's just my answer is almost always Dual Decks. I feel like Jumpstart is the limited version of that. It holds your hand. It gives you some great experience, and there is a ton of variety and replayability. So yeah, Jumpstart's great. It's a little expensive the way that it's set up right now on Arena, but
that's neither here nor there.
Both of those products are great.
Yeah, this was the product that my heart ached the most in 2020 because Jumpstart in stores could not really happen. You could go and buy a box or whatever, but the stuff sold out immediately. It was super expensive. The reprints didn't come for a very long time, if hardly at all. And making more Jumpstart is A+ for me. All right. So they busted a little bit about the universes beyond. This is the other IPs. This is where things are going to get, I don't know, not weird. They're going to get different. We're going to start saying character names and spell names that are going to start sounding really weird when around Magic stuff. But in the world of 40K, in the world of Lord of the Rings, it's going to be awesome.
I'm sorry. I believe that they said Warhammer 40,000 on the Magic stream
every single time.
Boomers here. That is never mind.
It was funny. You could tell somebody in branding was like, "You say 40,000. It's Warhammer 40,000. Yep. Don't be K-ing up in here." Funny. Because there's brands that are going to be pissed, all right? But I believe this one, they busted, I don't know, I'm sure they meant to say this one was called Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, as I recall, was what they said this name was. They also said it's coming out in 2023. I thought they already announced it was coming out in 2022. I'm not sure if that's the case. I don't believe it was, now looking back. But, so we're going to have to wait a couple years, but eventually we're going to get there, and we'll have our Balrog, and we'll have Frodo and Sam and the Ring and all that good stuff. I can't wait. It should be a lot of fun. All right, we talked about Secret Lair drops. It's Fortnite.
Hey,
Secret Lair is getting a Fortnite drop.
Do your flossy dances.
Do the thing with the stuff. I cannot do it.
I'm trying to in my chair.
I don't believe that you can't do it until you try. Until you show us.
Oh no. We're long past that.
Oh no.
Either way, they did note importantly / specifically that the Fortnite Secret Lair is all reprints. They're not going to have their own custom cards or anything or whatever. Okay. Which honestly I wouldn't have really cared that much either way. But I do think it's nice to kind of just sort of lightly touch on the very pop culture-esque type thing that you're bringing into Magic. Just a little they're just reprints.
Yeah. I mean, the Walking Dead was mostly a Walking Dead product, not a Magic product. Walking Dead collectors wanted it, Magic collectors less so. So if they're aiming for Fortnite fans and Fortnite collectors, then it doesn't matter if they're new cards.
Look, I think this is great. I mean, I want a Diablo Secret Lair. I want a Doom Secret Lair. Let's go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Take some IPs and run with them. That'd be sweet. Yeah. I want Civilization Secret Lairs. Come on, let's go.
Right.
The one I didn't see coming, I did not see Street Fighter coming to Magic. Y'all, look right here. Right here. This guy right here has been on my shelf the whole time. The whole time these shelves have existed, this guy's been right over here. Not because I literally had obviously any knowledge of this, because I just love Street Fighter. I played Street Fighter ever since I was a kid. I haven't played the crappy Street Fighter 1. You ever played the crappy Street Fighter 1?
No.
It's trash. Don't do it. It's not very fun. But it was awesome at the time. And so Street Fighter getting a secret lair, all new cards for the characters. Chun-Li has multi-kicker.
Smart.
Chun-Li has multi-kicker.
The only time we'll ever say multi-kicker is a good ability.
No,
I think that is the most flavorful thing that we've seen so far in the entire show.
Yep. Agreed.
And again, I don't know why they didn't do it for The Walking Dead. It just blows my mind, but whatever. This is going to be one of the first secret layers that they're going to have in-universe reprints of it in future set boosters for the list, which is fine. But either way, I'm all about this. This is my jam. You talking like 40-year-old dude, man. Street Fighter is amazing. That's just where you're at as a kid. That was awesome. Whew, all right. So they talked about arena rotation. We talked about little Historic Horizons. I've got to play a little Jumpstart Historic Horizons. So has Ruben. Nerd Girl, I think you're gonna when the cast is over.
At this very moment, we're ahead, but
yes,
we'll be behind real fast.
We'll be behind by the time this gets uploaded.
Look, I've played a little. I played a lot of the limited environment, and I played a little of the constructed environment. Okay. My God. These cards are powerful. These cards are so much better than anything on Arena right now. It's crazy. And the board states get complex. The games are long. The cards are super swingy. And because the cards are so swingy, they can get you out of these bad situations where in lower power limited environments, like in D&D or whatever, you're never getting out of that situation. You're like, oh, I drew my bomb mythic, which lets me go get this other thing. For example, there is a 3-mana white enchantment that at the end of your turn, you gain a life or you bring back a 1 converted mana cost or less creature onto the battlefield. And my God, that's annoying. And that's really abusive.
I wrote that one down for my future top 10. Abiding Grace.
Oh my God. That card is real and crazy. And I've played some of the Merfolk deck, not even with the Collective Company because I'm a bad deck builder, but whatever. The new cards are sick and powerful and amazing. And I love it. But yeah, the format's super grindy.
Okay. I'm excited to see what the limited format is. Like I said, it just came out today and I have not had a chance to stream yet. And but by the time we get here next week, I'm sure I'll have 100 hours under my belt or something.
Yeah.
Of the limited environment.
It's fun. I've been having a blast, like I said. Lastly here, Magic is coming to Netflix in 2022. Brandon Routh. That's a big name. That's serious business. Actor dollars.
And I've heard that Brandon Routh plays Magic. I'd heard that before. So this is, pretty dope. Former Superman.
Yeah.
And I think that, it's exciting to see movement on that front. The worst news of the week was that the Russo brothers are off the Netflix project.
And that's
which obviously they didn't talk about
in some ways. Yeah, they weren't going to expand on or explain it or whatever, but
yeah.
That's just kind of how it was. But the fact that they said they have all the audio recorded and they're now just working on the animation, that is huge. That's super huge. I mean, at some point, they're going to be able to work on a trailer here before we know it. And we're going to be watching some animated magic about Gideon and Jace getting in adventures. Do we
know who's animating it? Is it?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
They showed some mock-ups of the animation style. Which I would argue... If you have seen have you seen any of the DC movies where they did DC animated movies of various storylines, it looks very similar to that style and quality. But yeah, they also mentioned there are folks on Gideon and somebody's like, whose favorite planeswalker is Gideon? It's like, well, isn't it good to start with a blank page? You know what I mean? Yeah. Gideon is just a good dude who fights a lot, So you can talk about that and kind of give him a personality and, infuse him with something. And we all know he's going to die. All right. Just think of it like a Black Widow movie or something.
Trying to see if there's any announcement about E1 is the studio.
E1. This
animation is being done by Snowball Studios.
Okay. I was just curious because a lot of times they'll outsource the animation, especially to Japan or whatever. And those tend to do very, very well. So.
Yep. Yeah. Snowball Studios is a Canadian company. Snowball VFX. I'm seeing what TV series they've done. Oh, they're doing the current Muppet Babies. That's cool.
That's cool.
Good to know.
Yeah. So moving on here to just a few just a smattering, as we're already running fairly long per usual.
I do have to let you know that they also do Barbie Dreamtopia.
Good to know.
I didn't know either of those things existed, so
nope. Right.
There you go.
I don't know how that bodes well or not, but
all right, so we're gonna move on here to Gather the Townsfolk, where they have another secret lair coming, y'all, for the Pulsecon in October of 2021. So you too get to see this new secret lair, which is about cats, because cats rule. And
this is a fun one. This is a fun animation style. I enjoy this a lot, actually.
This is interesting because these cards, by and large, are just kind of like they're a couple dollar cards. You know what I mean? This is Chain Lightning, has amazing art. Generous Gift has amazing art. Mm-hmm. Heirloom Blade looks incredible. And then I think Heirloom Blade might be the most sort of money card in it. But I could be wrong about that, and could almost reach again. So these are just like, these aren't very expensive cards, is the way what I'm saying. Is that the idea is that they're expensive because they have cats on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cards that see enough playability to make them useful, and then they just put some really sweet art on them, which I like. Do we have is this one of the cheaper secret layers, I'm guessing, to buy?
It's not even on sale yet. Okay. My guess is it will be. My guess is it's going to be a $20 secret layer and a $30 foil or whatever.
You gotta peep that Kodama's Reach flavor text, by the way. It is a delight.
In the perennial garden, the catnip blooms forever.
Yeah. Perennial garden.
That is terrific. So, are there any other topics you guys feel super strongly about discussing in one way or another before we move on to the finisher?
Do I care about any of these? Well, OnlyFans reversed its policy to the surprise of exactly no one.
Of exactly 0 people.
Yeah, that was like the big conversation online this week, as far as I could tell, outside of the Magic sphere. But, good to know.
And there was and speaking of the splash damage, I thought was interesting is that the Flesh and Blood publishers are sending their content creators exclusive promos that they get to share with their communities and whatnot, which I thought was cool. And this to me, like, you see the Flesh and Blood stuff we talked about a little bit in the pre-show, where like it is just like Magic's roots. Like it feels like they're doing everything all over again. It's like we're seeing history repeat itself with a card game that's cool. A lot of people like it, and they're starting to do things like send out free promo cards, do very special promo stuff for certain people in ways that if it was a giant corporate conglomerate, it would not be working that way. But this is kind of where those things start.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, if you want to experience what the early 2000s PTQ scene was like, go play Flesh and Blood.
There you go. All right, let's move on here. Turn the corner to the finisher. Lots of news this week, but the real headline is that we are finally getting a 1/1 black Death Touch snake token. It's been a long and lonesome road to get here, but the prodigal son has finally come home. So now that we have gotten to the promised land, what is the next bridge to cross, Ruben?
Magic fans waited years for a Tarmogoyf reprint. We waited longer for Damnation, even longer for Dark Confidant, and now there's a new brass ring for WotC to reprint. The one card we are all hoping finally gets a reprint after far too long on the list. Colossal Dreadmaw.
Come on, Wizards. Make it happen. What are you doing? Nerd
It's
girl?
been forever. Unfortunately, I need Magic to reprint the card that is the bane of my existence, Felidar Sovereign, because I'm running low on things to send my fans and kindling for my fireplace.
That's right. Just burn them up. Just get rid of them. Look, the most expensive card in Magic the Gathering, not on the reserve list right now, is Imperial Seal. So I anticipate a future reprint sooner rather than later. And let's face it, it's much more likely to see a reprint than the actual second most expensive non-reserve list card as of this recording. And I am not messing with you, Slivdrazi Monstrosity.
I looked up the stats. Slivdrazi Monstrosity is the second most expensive non-reserved card in Magic.
Now, the mystery boosters you get in your stores these days don't have the Planeswalker symbol. The Planeswalker symbol version is like $250, which is ridiculous. And the new one's like $60, but still, those are very expensive pieces of cardboard for being in a recently printed set. And that ends another live episode of Magic Mics. Thanks for joining us here to discuss all things Magic. Thank you, Nerd Girl.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Ruben.
Man, busy week. I would like every week to be like this week. That was a lot.
We need all the cool announcements.
That was
fun.
like a pre-pandemic show. We went past the hour mark.
That's crazy. It's crazy. All right, let's move on here to our final slide. I want to thank our sponsor, CoolStuffing.com, our co-sponsors, CardHoarder.com, and AlterSleeves, using the code MagicMikes on AlterSleeves.com. My co-host, Nerdgirl, and Ruben Bressler, you guys for watching and listening. I hope you support us at Patreon.com/MagicMikes. Please follow, like, tweet, favorite, share, subscribe to everything social that tells people we exist. Catch us online and on Discord, twitch.tv at MagicMikes, on Twitter at MagicMikesCast, our Magic Mike subreddit, and like the Magic Mikes page on Facebook. Or join us here next week, same time, same place, for another episode of Magic Mikes. Good night, everybody.